On Seattle's Progressive Talk, AM 1090. You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program.
They say we won't continue the middle class tax cut unless you give the tax cut for the super wealthy. It's about time they take some responsibility.
Now that's the way you do a debate. Welcome to the afternoon after and the Thom Hartmann Show for this Friday. I'm Nicole Sandler of RadioOrNot.com. I don't know about you. Well, I'm guessing that you feel how I do. That was a fun debate to watch. Not only because Joe Biden knocked one out of the ballpark. Yes, I guess that one goes out to Joe Biden. I enjoyed the smiling, even if it was a bit toothy. Nicole Sandler in for Thom Hartmann. Somebody who didn't enjoy the smile was Chris Wallace of that fake news channel. Let's hear cut number 17, Shane.
I don't believe that I have ever seen a debate in which one participant was as openly disrespectful of the other as Biden was to Paul Ryan tonight. And that's what it was. You can talk about the smirks, the smiles, the head shaking, the mugging. It was openly contemptuous and disrespectful. Really? And it wasn't just the facial gestures, it was also the words. In the course of the night, he dismissed various arguments by Ryan as malarkey, bunch of stuff. Right. I don't know what these guys are talking about, loose talk and bluster.
Yeah.
It was really quite an extraordinary, and I have to say, from my experience, unprecedented performance in a presidential or vice presidential debate by one of the participants.
Excuse me. What? Point being, yes, it was malarkey. It was a bunch of stuff. That was fun. You know, Joe Biden has spent decades on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Paul Ryan just showed his lack of chops. Mark Taylor-Canfield is on the line from Huffington Post. This isn't about the debate. Mark, what's going on?
I wanted to say, Nicole, I'm a big fan of Radio or Not, so thank you for what you've been doing.
Thanks so much.
But also a couple quick comments on the debate, actually, since you're talking about it. I would say to Chris Wallace, obviously, he never saw the first debate between Romney and Obama when Mitt Romney pretty much stepped all over the moderator and the president himself. So
that's true. You want to talk about rude. Hello.
Yeah, there's so many contradictions in their response to this debate. Another one is, if people think that our vice president may have had a few whiskeys, they should listen to certain people on the Senate floor sometimes on the Republican side. Mr. Boehner might be someone you might want to listen to on a bad day and compare.
Yeah.
And
maybe in the
also,
house. Mark? You know what? You're going to have to hold through the break because obviously the music is starting. We got a break for the news at the top of the hour. So hold on, and we'll get the last of those thoughts and your report on an anti-austerity protest happening tomorrow because that's some important stuff. So Mark Taylor-Canfield, hold on. All right, I'm Nicole Sandler of RadioOrNot.com in for Thom Hartmann. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll be back. Don't go away.
You're listening to Thom Hartmann.
Two members of Congress are now running for the same California seat, and things got so tense yesterday during a campaign appearance in the San Fernando Valley. Congressman Brad Sherman grabbed Congressman Howard Berman, yanked Berman toward him, and shouted, "You want to get into this?" Today, Sherman describes the incident to us as putting his arm around Berman's shoulder and says he shouldn't have done it. This is AP Radio News.
Like any political process, Progressive Talk Radio requires active participation. We need your help to keep a strong voice for peace, justice, and equality on the Seattle airwaves. There's no need to write a check. We're not asking for your money, but we need your pledge to continue supporting Seattle's Progressive Talk AM 1090 and the local sponsors that keep us on the air. Together, we can make a difference in our community and the world. Join the movement. Tell everyone you know, and even those you don't know, that you listen to Seattle's Progressive Talk.
Yes!
This is the Thom Hartmann Program, live on Seattle's Progressive Talk, AM 1090. You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program.
It is the Thom Hartmann program. And once again, you got Nicole Sandler of RadioOrNot.com in for Tom. He'll be back Monday. I'm thrilled to be here and honored and happy to be talking with you, Mark Taylor-Canfield, who's going to let us know about an anti-austerity protest tomorrow. But I do want to let you, one of my favorite journalists is Matt Taibbi. He does great work for Rolling Stone. And if you think Rolling Stone is just about music, you need to pick up a copy and read Matt Taibbi. He writes some amazing stuff on Goldman Sachs and just, you know, he goes into a lot of depth that other journalists don't. Anyway, he's got a column up today on his Taibbi blog at rollingstone.com about the debate last night and about the criticism that a lot of outlets are lobbing at Joe Biden because of his demeanor last night. I just want to read you a little bit from Matt Taibbi's piece today. He said, you know, many outlets are criticizing Biden's dramatic excesses, his tone. Biden did absolutely roll his eyes, snort, laugh derisively, and throw his hands up in the air whenever Ryan trotted out his little beady-eyed BS-isms. I like that, BS-isms. But he should have. He was absolutely right to be doing it. We should all be doing it. That includes all of us in the media, and not just paid obnoxious opinion merchants like me, that's Matt Taibbi saying that, but so-called objective news reporters as well. We should all be rolling our eyes and scoffing and saying, come back when you're serious. That's a great point. Come back when you're serious. I mean, look, they're wasting our time with lies and half-truths and misleading statements. Come back when you're serious. I like that. All right, Mark Taylor-Canfield, I punched you in before and we only had a minute to go, so thanks for the kind words before the break. And so tell us what's happening. Look, you know, before you get there, I do want to make one other point. George W. Bush, with his tax cuts and 2 unpaid-for wars, drove us into this financial crisis that we're still digging ourselves out of. That's number one. Number two is, you know, they're responsible for so many of these policies, and you know they're screaming that, you know, that Obama hasn't fixed it fast enough. Get over yourselves. It is infuriating that they even go there. Anyway, I just, and the rest of the world is also in real serious financial straits as well. I mean, look at Spain with 25% unemployment. And the housing crisis we have here is happening all over the world. All right, that's that. Now, Mark Taylor-Canfield, there are, you know, we still have this Republican Party that wants to put into place these massive austerity measures, and we can see from Europe that austerity doesn't work. So what's this protest happening tomorrow?
Well, you know, in reference to your previous sound clips, it was George W. Bush who was pushing very hard on major bailouts. So this whole idea of stimulus actually came from the Bush administration. So the GOP is just full of contradictions. But
yes, they are.
Tomorrow, around the world, and most people are probably not reporting on this yet, Nicole, but there's going to be a series of events against these austerity measures. It was started with the Ignitos movement in Spain, but it spread now. There's going to be major protests in France, Germany, the UK, Mexico, Australia, Canada, the U.S., Japan, all over the world, over 35 different countries. And what they're going to do is people are going to take to the streets and they're going to bang on pots and pans, which is a tradition that actually started in Argentina in 2001, but it's been repeated in Iceland and Montreal recently. But it's a way of getting people's attention and to say that, you know, we have to fix this system and that people do not want to accept these austerity measures that are being forced on them all over the world. So all across the country, in the United States, there will also be major protests going on and a whole series of events happening in Seattle for the next few days. And I just wanted to let everybody know that if you want to find out more about this, you can go to globalnoise.net and you can see a map, which is just amazing, of all the countries around the world that are going to participate starting tomorrow. And also another story that people don't know about because it's really not getting coverage except for maybe my stuff at the Huffington Post in a good article at Salon, and that's there's a federal grand jury actually happening in Seattle. It's been convening since August 5th. And at this point, there are actually 3 activists who have been jailed for refusing to cooperate with the federal grand jury, which they claim is just a witch hunt. And the National Lawyers Guild is actually agreeing with them and has called for U.S. Attorney Jenny Durkin to drop all of the subpoenas.
They're not cooperating with federal authorities on what? What is the case?
It's a secret grand jury, so any documents pertaining to any warrants and subpoenas are sealed. And there were actually very intense raids that took place, rather violent actually, in Portland and Seattle in July, where FBI and Seattle SWAT police broke into activist houses. And what they did was they ended up confiscating political material, computers, cell phone, thumb drives. So the only thing that people have been able to figure out at this point is that they seem to be especially concerned about anarchists. There's been 2 women who have been jailed at a federal facility here in SeaTac, Washington. And Leah Lynn Plant, the grand jury, is not trying to hold her on any charges. They've admitted that she's not guilty of any crime. They're just trying to get her to cooperate. What the activists are saying in Seattle and all around the country, and there's actually been some solidarity protests in other countries on this issue, they're just saying that, it's a witch hunt and political repression, and that, confiscating people's political material is kind of ridiculous in a country that has a constitution that guarantees.
I hear you. Look,
right.
we have a situation too where, for instance, Twitter is turning over all Occupy Wall Street related tweets to the NYPD and maybe to DHS. I don't know how high up it goes. The fact, that we found out through FOIA requests, my friend Jason Leopold over at truthout.org did some great work on this and found out, that there was some coordination among law enforcement agencies and the Department of Homeland Security when it came to, and I'll say spying on the activities of Occupy protesters. Those are the kind of things that make it really difficult for me to stand here and go, rah, 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 President Obama. However, and I'll say this again, I think that it'll be easier for us to push back against those kind of excesses, those kind of abuses of our civil liberties with a Democrat in office than it would be against someone like Mitt Romney or any Republican in office. So, again, my push is elect as many progressives as possible to Congress, and we have a fighting chance against this kind of stuff. Mark Taylor-Canfield, find him at Huffington Post. Thanks so much for great information today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Nicole.
All right, bye-bye, and thanks for the kind words, too. Nicole Sandler of RadioOrNot.com in for Thom Hartmann. More of your calls coming up next, so don't go away.